This is what we have. So this is what we have. We have some spinning meat pie on the table. Hi, darlings. Today we are making delicious meat pies, Nigerian meat pies. All right, so I start by teaching you how to measure your flour. This is 400 grams of flour. I measured this on a scale, but if you don't have a scale at home, I just want to show you the measurement in cups. All right, so this is 1 cup. Usually you level up your measurements. If you're measuring in cups, you don't heap them up. All right, you just measure them and level them up like this. So this is 1 cup of flour. If I do all of this, you find out that is actually exactly 3 cups. True. And this is going to be 3. So let's not waste time. So 3 cups of flour leveled up like this is equivalent of 400 grams and a teaspoon of baking powder. Leveled, see? That's all we need. Nutmeg. It's a game changer in pies. Just a little of salt because my butter is already salted. Okay. I'm not adding sugar. I'm not a fan of sugar in meat pies, but if you like, you can just add half a teaspoon of sugar. All right, it is absolutely optional, so I'm not adding that. Now I mix my dry ingredients to combine the flour, the baking powder, nutmeg, and then you add in your butter. This is 400 grams of flour, so we need 200 grams of butter. Learn this and no peace. Okay, usually so divide your flour into two. One part of it is your butter. If you have 800 grams of flour, your butter should be 400. If you have 600 grams of flour, your butter should be 300. So your butter is half of your flour. English, please do not fail me. Am I making sense? All right, so we have 400 grams. So our butter is supposed to be what? My student. 200 grams, correct? Correct. So if you have 200 grams of flour, your butter has to be 100 grams. All right. If you have 50 grams of flour, your butter should be 25 grams of butter, right? Good. Are we good? We're good. All right, so this is my butter. See, the thing is, meat pie is just about butter, basically. So if you're a Weight Watchers and you want to cut down on your calorie intake, oh, meat pie, as delicious as it is, it shouldn't be your best friend. All right, it's something you should eat periodically. If you're a sweet tooth person, that So meat pie is butter, not so ideal for Weight Watchers. Even if you're not a Weight Watcher, you shouldn't eat meat pie like every day, just because you like it. All right, because the amount of calorie you'll be heaping into your system is unimaginable. Now we have our butter. All right, and to the butter, I'm going to add an egg. This is absolutely optional. You can choose to skip it, but I like to add egg to it. I think it contributes to making the crust flakier. Don't break your egg by the side of your bowl. You might have some cracks in your recipe. All right, so you break it by the side of your table. Is that okay? I hope it's fresh. Ooh, so fresh. Now this is how you know fresh eggs. You see the yolk is in place. It's not splattered all over the place. It's just in one portion and clean and looking neat. That's how you know fresh eggs when you've broken them. All right. Bits of because this butter is not the president and the ambassadors and all of those rich brands of butter. Okay, so this is almost a regular butter, so I'll just add a little flavor I am a sweet tooth myself. So this is, if you're wondering and you want to see, this is vanilla butternut. I love it. I'm not advertising it. If it's gonna make you feel a certain way, then you can go ahead and wear some gloves. Okay, so let's incorporate the wet ingredients into the dry ingredients, and by this I'm going to use my bare palm because they are clean. Okay, mix the wet ingredients in themselves together and then gently incorporate it into the dry ingredients. You don't want to overmix this. This is not bread. Okay, you have to be really gentle with your meat pie dough because you want to have your crust flaky and soft. If you mix it rigorously, you might just end up having a tough um, dough that is not flaky, and then it's not gonna make it delightful to the taste. Okay, so you just mix it to have a crumbly texture. If you like, you can add some milk to it, whether dry or wet. Now this is supposed to be more crumbly, but because of the egg, it's binding. Can you see? The egg has almost binded the dough for me. If I didn't add the egg, it won't be this um molded. Okay, it won't form like this. It will be more scattered and crumbly. The egg, just a single egg, has done the work of binding, so I'm not gonna have so much water, just a little sprinkle. Okay, now I'm just gonna attempt to gather it together and form a dough. You don't want to over mix, remember, to form it like this. If you don't want to use egg, it's fine. If you choose to use milk or water, just add a little per time and then try to form a dough out of it until you have a texture like this. Can you see how not hard, not soft, just perfect? Now we're gonna set this aside and prep the pan for baking. Okay, so that your meat pie doesn't stick to the bottom of the tray. Okay, break an egg to seal up the edges of the meat pie. Okay. If you want them to be perfectly equal, you can use a scale. A digital scale can give you the exact. Four of the sizes. One, two. We have about 10 pieces here, but at the end of the day, we're gonna have like about 12 pieces of the meat pie in total. It's gonna be some divine multiplication. Yeah. Like this. It was the time I had to do like 350 pieces of the meat pie. So this gives me faster results than just doing one after the other. So, but what works better for you? You can do what works better for you. You can do them one at a time. Okay. Okay, I know you're in a hurry to shape them up, so I would let's quickly fix this one, right? So the dry flour is a sealer itself. If you don't want to seal up the edges with beaten egg, then you can flip it over to coat the flour. So your dough doesn't have to be perfectly round. Don't worry about the cracking. That's how you know your meat pie is a rich one. Okay. So simple to make. Any complexity? No. Right? So you can bake meat pie at home. You can, bake and put it in the fridge, then warm it up for your kids to take to school. You can warm it in a skillet. You can warm it in a non-stick pan. You can as well warm it in a microwave if you believe in the use of microwave. If you don't have cutters, you can still, okay, maybe I'll just use one to show you an example of how you can make it without a cutter. Okay. Oh my God. It happens. Don't worry. It's part of the process. It happens. It's supposed to be behind the camera. Okay. I'll just let it be so that if you find yourself having those lapses, it's absolutely okay. Don't say you're not doing it well. Your own wasn't like that. All right. Now we have them all rolled out. I need the flour. All right. Just trying to find a space to sit the baking tray. All right. There you go. Just wash the sides and then close it up. Simple as that. Cut off the excesses. Let's put it somewhere. Open up your meat pie. You see? The edges are sealed. And then you place it in your baking tray. Look. So easy. If you don't want your um, dough breaking apart like this, you can let it sit for a bit, you know, before you mold it out, you roll it out. It's gonna help stick together. But that's how you know you have a rich, flaky dough. When it's breaking apart like this, it's controllable. You can as well use cool water to mix your dough, or you put it in the fridge before mixing it. I hardly do this cold water thing because once you know your correct measurement and the method, you really can skip this cold water stuff. If you're trying it out and you're not getting it perfectly, please keep trying. All right. The more you practice, the more you know it. I've been doing this thing for so many years. So, if you want to know how to make the filling from scratch, you can let me know in the comment section. Okay. Just the exact same process with all of them. Oh, I should have. You see? It's okay. So when you have your dough sticking to your cutter, just sprinkle some flour on it. You place your dough, it has to be bigger than the size of the cutter, a little bit over the size of the cutter. Okay, otherwise it will your dough will shrink into the cutter and then it's not going to give you the shape. You see this? So easy. Some people don't add baking powder to their meat pie. I want to show you how you can mold it without the cutter. Okay, but we have to make a small size so that it can fit the pan. I don't want to. Oh, what is just one left? What do? We don't want to overcrowd the pan. Okay, let's use this tool to demonstrate that you can actually do meat pie without your cutter. Okay. We have 10 pieces, right? And I told you the cutouts are going to, amount to 2 extra meat pies. And I think this is the size. So in total, we have 12, like I said. Hey, this feeling is not plenty. Okay, let's manage it. I don't want to open the fridge again. I beg it. Let's manage this one. Oh my god, I forgot. You didn't tell me. Oh my god, I forgot that we're trying to demonstrate that we can actually, you know, bake without using the cutter. Oh my god. Mm. Okay. I'm sorry. I forgot. This is the last one, and a demonstration of the fact that you can actually make your meat pie without cutters. Can you see that the dough has rested? This has rested adequately, so it doesn't break apart like from the beginning. So if you want your dough to sit pretty on the table, you can let it rest. I do not have the luxury of time to let it rest that much. So now this is the last one. Oh, the feeling is not so much, but it's okay. And still rub the edges, and then you pull it up and close it. It's that simple. Let me turn it so you can see. Okay, so you just seal it up like this. Can you see how simple? The skin. This is what it looks like. All right, so far so good. The reason for washing your pies is so that when it's baked, it's gonna have that glossy, beautiful shine to it. Yeah, that's the whole essence of egg washing your doughs. At this point, our oven is already preheating, so you can have all the dancing and spinning around because in a bit you're gonna get in the oven, and in there it is hot, it is scorching. You're gonna get baked. We're gonna have you in our mouths and in our bellies and on our plates. It's okay. It's okay. The spin is okay. Let's go bake. Right? Right. We're sorry.